Well, hello there, guys. Bet you never thought you would see this on the Agrippa Maxenius channel, but we're going to be playing a little bit of Dwarf Fortress, guys. We are playing with a GRIMDARK mod. It's pretty great, and also a Dark Ages 5 mod, which adds a few new creatures and things of that nature. But really, we're starting just from the very bottom and hopefully going to the top. I have some pre-existing fortresses currently, but I really enjoy sort of beginning from absolutely nothing and seeing just how far we can get. So we're actually getting the story going on here for our particular civilization, etc. And we've only done 100 years. We could have gone 500 years into the future, but I sort of like the 100 years because the world is just sort of starting. It's a good time to become established and to choose a proper location for a fortress. So let's make that happen. Trying to just fix this. Can't even look at the damn chat. All right, well, that's fantastic. We'll have to deal with that. Okay, so there's any number of different places we could go. We could go to a place that's actually like quite high in minerals, but that's not necessarily going to be the best place to be, as you could probably imagine. So we need to be kind of careful. Then again, we also want a place that's not too close to other civilizations. There's a dwarven fortress over here with a lot of iron and lead and things like that. And this mountain range in general looks to be like a pretty good place to start. But I'm not so sure we want to do that. Maybe we want to kind of do our own thing, almost on this side of the mountain, but also near some water would be nice. There's not much water over here, and dwarves can find water in other ways, and honestly, most of the time they drink alcohol anyway. They don't really drink water, but nonetheless, let's try. So there's a brook over here. You know what, actually? I think we need to return because there is a little issue right there where we are not getting indicators for the locations of other civilizations. So we're simply going to remake the world in our own image. I can show you guys my current fortress, but I kind of want to just jump right in. I'm so annoyed that I can't look at the chat here, and I've got like the app on my phone that is really annoying. Okay, well, weird. All right, so we're just going to create a new world. And over here, we can change any number of different things. Mineral occurrences, we're going to make them frequent. I don't want them to be everywhere. But we are going to add all of the Dark Ages 5 and Grim Dark mods. And we're just going to go ahead and let me actually go to basic options. I'm going to go for 250 years. This will take a few more minutes, but it'll develop the world a little bit better. At least I think it will. And let's go. Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you for stopping by. Sorry, I'm gonna have to jump here on my screen between Twitch or chat and the actual game itself, because for whatever reason, not able to see it here. All right, so here we go. 254 different worlds rejected before we came to this particular history. And you can see like all of the different buildings popping up all over the world. That's another thing about this game. It's very much a strategy game in the sense that even once you build up your fortress, you could start attacking other fortresses. You could lay claim to them, conquer their civilizations, enslave their people, whatever you can even think of. It gets pretty crazy. And you can see here, I mean, just look at the growth of these cities, these civilizations. This, of course, just being one small part of the map itself. But we're trying to get to year, I believe, 250. So it could take a little bit longer than you're expecting. I'll try to get the damn app here. I don't understand. Come on now. Year 139. Again, it's going to take a little while, but it will eventually get there. And all of these different events are happening. Wars, massive wars, massive conquests, kings being elected, people being toppled. Just the craziest things you can imagine. So I think we're going to start near that southeastern mountain range. If you guys see where I'm looking, there doesn't seem to be too much going on there. And hopefully we can sort of exploit that, sort of start to develop that area. Ready to tackle an aquifer. So the Grimdark mod actually gets rid of the aquifers. And yes, some people do kind of find them frustrating. I never have tried them since I've always played with this mod. There's a city called Tattoo Handled in here. I love it. But yeah, this is actually quite a thriving civilization. And of course, we're going to need to jump in somewhere and just start building. I believe we can change dwarf names, so if anybody has any name recommendations, you can put them down below, and we'll absolutely consider them. I'm going to keep trying to find this. Hold on. Okay, we're almost to year 200. And again, we could have simply done 100 years. That would have had far fewer civilizations. But I don't find that to be nearly as interesting. So this way we really get to experience the true terror of a grimdark civilization. And when I say grimdark, this mod adds just a bunch of different things that really adds a more creepy feel to the game. It's already a very creepy game as is, so to be honest with you. Okay, so again, I'm still looking at that southeastern mountain range area there. It looks quite promising, but I'm already starting to see some civilizations develop there as well. The thing is, as dwarves, we kind of want to be near mountains because we can mine ore there. We can find cave mushrooms, which we can turn into interesting drinks. There's all sorts of different reasons to stay by the mountains or by some sort of water source. But if you're looking at the map now, you see most of the dwarf civilizations, which would be sort of the castles. They are sticking near the mountains, where some of the elf and human or wizard civilizations are over there in the coastal areas or out in the grass plains. And I don't think we really belong in any sort of grass plains area. Look at that, though. Something happened over there. The dwarf mummy, there was some sort of massive earthquake there in the center of the map. It's just incredible how many different things can happen in this game. Mm-hmm. We can make some cheese. Yeah, that's right, mushroom cheese. That's weird. But dwarves eat a lot of strange things. While doing this, I'm gonna go plug that other phone in. Okay, almost year 250. It took a while, didn't it? It really did. Now, of course, if you're really focused, you can actually go through this entire history, read everything, look at the legends, look at the different heroes, the different monsters, all sorts of things, prophets, gods. I'm not sure if it has gods, but I do think it has like incredibly legendary monsters. Hydras, I've faced those myself. So just a lot of crazy stuff. So here we go, our guys. We now have to pick our starting location. The thing about here is we're actually quite close to other dwarves. I'm almost thinking like, and this is a conifer forest. I've never actually tried building in a conifer forest. Oh. Kind of would like to remain by the water, though. Going up here seems risky. There's a... So these are goblin pits right here. We don't want to go near those. Content of sinews. So this is a wizard hamlet. I'm going to take a big risk. And actually probably try to set up somewhere over there. So at this point, it's just simply going to offload all of the units we just made. That entire world history is going to be offloaded. There's so much in this damn game. I mean, if you like things like Crusader Kings 2 or Crusader Kings 3 or whatever, dynastic games, you would love this. That's for sure. Fortunately, we don't have adventurer mode or anything like that. Okay, so we can only do Fortress. Again, Adventurer is probably coming in like 6 months, honestly. It's going to take quite a while. And I do apologize for the chat situation, guys. I do need to switch between. I've got the phone just for whatever reason. It doesn't seem to want to work for me right now, so I'm sort of fixing that other phone. Now, again, we're dwarves. We need to be near minerals. We also need to be near water, though, and there's really very few good places because 250 years have passed. You can see all of these other civilizations all over the damn place. But let's just take a look. We'll find something. And I'm thinking like over here, there's a wizard hamlet nearby, but we could probably get near the water. The same thing is true over here. The wizards can often be quite friendly, but we also want to face goblins, right? We don't just want to have everything happy and perfect. So let's go over here just a bit. There's so many different hamlets here, but we can certainly make use of it. Very interesting world. You're always going to get a different world every time you play. What about over here somewhere? Now, those are all goblin pits. They like to go in the deep soil. Not sure what they see in that deep soil, but they enjoy it. And there's like virtually nobody in this mountain range area. But again, it's because there's no water nearby either. So I think we have to take a bit of a risk here. And kind of like find something over here. This is going to be risky for sure. And we want to be near rocks too. But this is going to be a pretty heavily forested area. Unless we go over into this zone here. I don't mind a little bit of both, but I kind of want something like this. A little bit of mountain, a little bit of stream, and a little bit of forest too. Actually, maybe even over here. This is like well hidden though, but I don't dislike it. So we're gonna get started, guys. Normal economy. Let's just start with a default group. There's a bunch of different ways to start the game. Of course, you can pick your own weapons or whatever, but I want to start real basic here. A dwarven outpost has arrived. All right, let's get started. First things first, we need to set a stockpile zone. I know this is going to piss you off if you have OCD because I'm just going to do like a big old crap stockpile zone right there. just for whatever they want to put there. And wait a minute, who's this? Oh my goodness. I got an iron dwarf in our party, guys. This is a stray iron dwarf, 211 years old. He is blind, but this is an incredible kind of dwarf. Unfortunately, the blindness is not going to help. Now, I'm already finding some gems over here, but what I really want to do, what I typically do with my dwarf fortress, is I will dive into the nearest rock, right? So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to kind of create a path leading in. And then we're going to kind of create a path going down like this. And this is to start setting up traps. Now, I will usually have a tomb kind of set up over here, just for sort of a communal tomb for all dwarfs, essentially. But they're going to get started on that task. I hope so, anyway. And we also want to get started building things. Now, some people like to keep their workshops inside. I like to keep some inside, some outside. So anything that has to do with brewing, I'll keep inside. But things like the crafts workshop, we're going to just put it right out here. So just kind of like right there. Currently, of course, we have to get some additional resources before we can do that. And probably a tree wouldn't hurt, so let's chop one of those down. Now, given some time, if we can make a successful dwarf fortress, dwarves will actually come to our city. They'll join us here. They'll want to party with us, drink with us, all that fun stuff. And so that's kind of what we're trying to get to right now. You guys are going to help me decide what sort of economy we go for. By the way, let me just grab those gems. But, you know, we can go for virtually anything. Now, I'm looking out here. I'm just making sure that there are plants, because one thing that's going to be very important to us as dwarves is being able to brew whatever alcohol we want. So I'm already going to drop a brewery. And while we're at it, we can also get, or still, pardon me, while we're at it, we can also get a few other things, but the still is quite important here. Of course, we don't want to still before we have the woodcutter and before we have the, what's it called? The craftsman, I believe. So let me go here to workshops. And you know what, for anybody that's OCD, I'll keep them inside. The carpenter, pardon me. So let's put the carpenter down. Just going to use some bauxite to go ahead and to build that. And I am going to also build a craftsman. So let's put the craftsman right there. And again, we'll use bauxite to build that as well. Again, we're starting with just 7 dwarves, so they're going to take some time to do their thing. But they each have their own interesting histories, their own interesting personalities, health, etc. Really, really fascinating. I mean, this is one of those games that when I jumped into it, I was shocked at how much I really enjoyed it. I thought I was going to find it, like, overly complicated. No, I think the Steam version is really simple. And by the way, look at those tiger iron clusters. We're getting to the point, though, where we're going to start building a shaft. I know, make your jokes now. Down below here. So we're going to start heading down. And I'm also going to grab those gems there. And I think right in between those, I can probably go ahead and get the brewery. So let's get the still, pardon me. So we're going to put the still there. And then somewhere over here, I'm going to put the, it's the farmer's house, or the farmer's hut. Yeah, here we go. And actually, we probably don't need a farmer. We just need a kitchen, because we're going to collect all of those resources. For the most part, I mean, unless you bring in stuff, dwarves can be vegetarians, pretty much. It's not necessarily going to make them happy, but they can make do on just mushrooms and assorted vegetables that they find. So we're just kind of building a chamber here. We're going to start heading down very soon, deeper into the fortress. But for now, let's keep things simple. And there's a few things we need to build, namely barrels. Barrels are going to be very important. Look at all of those tight... Oh my god, we already have so many damn gems. It's incredible. So for the trading outpost, I will keep this outside. Kind of put it right there. Again, bauxite, we can use that to build it. But I also want to get that gem manufactory going. And again, I will be fair to those of you that are a little concerned with placement, and I'll actually build the gem manufactory somewhere in here. We're also going to expand that stockpile zone. Nobody's going to be happy with the stockpile zones, because I initially will start with just real basic. I'm not even going to name them or give them specific items. I just want people to start dumping everything here. And we've actually got 2 iron dwarves, so I'm not sure. I think these are actually considered pets, which is a little messed up. Learning new things, says Bostova. Hell yeah, man. They're actually considered pets, but yeah, so they're going to kind of just follow us around. They will kick the hell out of just about anything. Unfortunately, one of them is blind, and that's not going to help our cause. So here we go. Let's start heading downwards. And probably about here, I think, is a good enough spot. Now, again, Agrippa has a broken mouse, so if you see this thing going crazy, you know why. Here we go. And we're just going to start expanding, making multiple chambers, essentially. See? And just kind of like this. I'm going to keep things really simple because we're going to probably end up having to eventually case things over, put in a new floor. Otherwise, things like cave fungus can actually take over and destroy your civilization. It's happened to me, where I had like this thriving dwarf city. I'll actually show you guys after this. And basically, I didn't take care of the floors. I didn't clean up much. I was dirty. Cave fungus started taking over absolutely everything, okay? Everything. And eventually, the people got upset. There was a big fight. And yeah, I subsequently had a big, giant revolution on my hands. So let's go ahead, just make space for these gem crafters, because they're going to be of extreme importance. We can also begin already collecting plants here. So I'm just going to jump over here and just kind of start, just grab all them plants. Now we also have to start making some wooden barrels, but aside from wooden barrels, let me make sure this is, make sure that construction continues. Aside from wooden barrels, we need to make sure to start making things for homes so that our dwarves, of course, have a place to live. So let's focus on that. With 7 dwarves, that can take a little longer than usual. Make some rock crafts. Why not? Get to work. Okay, here we go. So, what's it called? One thing we're definitely going to need going to be these barrels. Again, because the barrels will carry any drinks that we make. So let's get those barrels. And we're also going to start just making beds, as well as doors, things like that. You know, just the basics. Then we'll get into things that are a little more complicated. But right now, we're really just making the simpler stuff. I know, it's a lot of beds. We also have to keep in mind that your dwarves will die, and I mean, they really will. So in time, we are going to want to start making caskets, things like that. Bins are also very useful, because those bins you can carry things in them, of course. Get another wooden barrel there. All right, I think that'll keep them busy for quite a while. And while they're doing that, yeah, we definitely need to collect plants, and also probably need to make more barrels. Yeah, it's probably, exactly, it's probably an animal corpse. Yeah, that's a raw pond. No, it's a raw pond turtle. That's going to be eaten, and it's considered fish, I believe. I know, it's weird, but it is fish. We can technically eat it. So don't worry about that. And we'll also want to start working on those gems. Why are they not? Come on now. Look, more gems. Oh my goodness, guys, you have no idea. Our first trade is going to be fantastic. We're going to get essentially whatever the hell we want from these people. I say these people, we're only really dealing with either elves, dwarves, or humans, and wizards with the GRIMDARK mod. So there we go. Not too bad of a start. Let's just see. It's going to take a little while, but he will make those beds, and we are already kind of cleaving into the earth here. You know what? Actually, somebody mentioned to me. Let me see if this works. No, didn't think so. That you can go down with the 0 buttons, but I don't think so. I think that's only for the actual text-based game. See, this is when I know my mouse is completely screwed. I'll get there eventually. It's just a pain in the ass to do it. There we go. So as you can see, he's already starting to mine out an area here, and this is likely where we'll start our first dwarf chamber. Where we'll have all the fun and games begin, essentially. And I want to make like a big old chamber where I can fit a bunch of different things in. So I'm going to kind of just open this up. The other thing I love about this is the floor here is made from sandstone. And the great thing about sandstone is it's very hard for cave fungus to grow here. For whatever reason, cave fungus does not like growing on sandstone. We're also going to start making just little depressions here. These are going to be our dwarf homes. Now, you can make really regal dwarf homes, don't get me wrong. I like to keep things simple at first, and then as they start to, you know, get assigned new positions and stuff, I will improve those homes as best I can. But man, we got to start getting that gems built. You know what? I'm just going to build it right there. I can't wait no longer. Construction, workshops, jeweler. So right there is fine. We'll use sandstone to build the building there. And we are just going to immediately start producing gems. Now, for the gems, I will keep a separate stockpile zone. So we'll kind of do something like this. We don't need a very big stockpile zone for this, at least not initially. Oh, there we go. Gem stockpile there. Any gems that don't fit here will go into a separate stockpile. And we can actually start expanding this out this way to create different and new stockpile zones. Still waiting for that food storage item. And that's, of course, the barrels. So we need more barrels. And maybe what we also need is more wood. So let me just check here. I will do wooden barrel, and I will also chop down a few more trees. And these big old trees. No, we should be fine on wood. These big old trees will bring a lot of wood. But I don't think we necessarily need them. Now, of course, the jewelers are going to take those gems you saw that are pretty rough and worn and stuff, and they're going to turn them into something absolutely beautiful. But give it time. With only 7 dwarves, it takes a lot longer to create these zones, of course. Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. I get good once I get good on the building in terms of like you know, keeping everything structured once we are down in the earth and I'm building the city. This area with all the stuff I just consider basically like our building zone pretty much. I'm not good. I'm not great with these stockpile zones initially, but given time, trust me, we're gonna get a proper dwarf city going on. However, I would like some additional dwarves to join us as soon as possible. Also, I just realized could be getting some good old-fashioned easy meals going here. And I need to get a farmer's building. And the reason being, let me find it, because we need to milk any animals that can be milked out here. Now, sometimes if you don't have animals that can be milked, they can get a little upset when you try. So don't do that. Let's see. Furniture, farming. And that would be the farmer. So we're going to put that right next to the kitchen there. Again, I will allow some of these to be outside. For me, it's no biggie. Okay, so we're going to do just a work order to cut these gems. We also want to polish the stones. So once the gems are cut, we want to polish those stones. And we're just going to make that an indefinite activity. So he's always going to be polishing stones. Our gem cutter, Thob Lebedik, or Lebedik, whichever you prefer. And he's going to kind of get started here on our builds. But meanwhile, we're going to be focusing down below in the Grimdark to get this city started. We also need to make sure, as well as beds, we got to get some tables, some chairs, because we want to make sure to a number of different things. We want to get a tavern up and running for our dwarves. We want to get some more barrels. We also want to get places of worship. So they do expect places of worship. And then tables at... And let's get 2 of those. Chair. The caskets will be necessary eventually, but not quite yet. I think we can hold off just a little bit. Now, another thing that will happen is over time, as your dwarves are constructing things, and the better they get at constructing things, they'll occasionally make legendary items. So they could even make a legendary chair that's worth like thousands of gold pieces, or they can make a legendary gem that has the same thing going for it. So just keep that in mind. A lot's gonna happen. I don't want to suspend construction. I guess we just need to wait a little bit more. Lots of gems here, by the way. I mean, that is crazy. Just taking a look at the chambers down here. It's going to take some time. And one thing you can do is actually jump here to your citizens. Some of these tasks are made for everyone to do. The miners, it seems that only this miner does that. So I want to make sure that the planter also does some mining. And maybe even the metal crafter. So this way we'll have 3 people working on the mining. As opposed to just 1. But, you know, sometimes it's best to let certain dwarves do certain things. They might just not enjoy doing that particular activity, and you're going to upset them if you force them to. Look at that. There's some more quartz clusters right there. Not a particularly rare gem, but it's a gem nonetheless. I should also be making more bins over here. Always make bins. Now, another thing we can do, obviously we have a lot of stone, so we can get a stone manufactory going. A stone worker. And the stone worker I'm going to put deep in here into the fortress itself. Let's try to get some additional plants out here to make drinks with, too. And again, we are just making drinks with plants. If you make drinks with fruit, they both are alcoholic beverages. I'm guessing the fruit just tastes a little better. Or maybe not. It depends on your preference. Oh, yeah. Look at that. As you can see, they've got a little wheelbarrow, and we can actually construct another wheelbarrow. That'll definitely help these guys move around a little faster. So let me go over here. Yeah, there we go. We want to make more than one, but give us time. While that's going on, I'm going to see if the other phone is finished charging. This is fine. I kind of want them building anyway, and I don't think there's any way to go faster than this, as far as I can tell. However, yeah, we still need that food storage item. Guess we need more of those barrels. Now, you can customize it so that basically they will only put alcohol in the barrels, but currently they're using those barrels for just about everything. Barrel. Let's also make a bucket. And you know what? Our dwarves can't drink if they don't have cups and mugs and things of that nature. So let's give them a jug. Get them some mugs. And other things to content themselves with. Figurines, for instance. There's all sorts of different things you can, of course, build for them. And let's get them some dye. At least they'll have something to do in their off time. Hold on, folks. Yeah, I should be able to actually read the damn comments. Okay. Let's see the progress they've made so far. And it looks like beautiful. We've got this up so we can go ahead and start milking animals, making that cheese that Bostova was talking about. However, you can also just keep the milk. It is considered a beverage, so it's, you know, it counts as a drink. And there we go. We can start brewing these drinks from plant. And again, we will do that as an indefinite task. It's basically something we always want to be doing out here. Wait, I don't know if... I actually love the music for this game. I'm probably not supposed to play it, but... Let's do a little of it. And you can see, look at that. We're already getting beautiful gems. Round tiger irons here. This is just one kind of gem that we could, of course, use or sell or trade with. But currently, we got to work on increasing the population and, of course, building this area. And we're just now starting to actually get into this area here, this bauxite wall. Bauxite, I think, can also be used to create iron over time, if I'm not mistaken. And we are just going to get started, guys, getting our first dwarf homes here. So all we just have one walnut door. This is how long it takes to construct things initially. Some very lucky dwarf is going to be able to live here, and we're just going to designate that a bedroom and accept. Over time, they will, of course, come and deliver more stuff. Let's go ahead and make sure that we're getting some doors and some more of those barrels. Again, initially, you're always going to need the barrels. I would recommend getting quite a few of them just to be kind of prepared. And let's see where the doors are. Let's see. There we go. So just let that sort of build for now. We can, of course, continue using the steel, but we are waiting for our dwarves to collect as much of this stuff as possible. And given that we only have 7, it's going to take a little while. So looking pretty good, and I'm already seeing some more quartz clusters over here. And as you can see, it looks like Kogan Endoxil, who's actually our expedition leader, she is currently using this as her room. Now, she is 63 years old, but I believe in dwarf years, that's like the equivalent of like 30. Because I think dwarves live to like 200 or 300. Can't recall which one, but they live quite a long time in their natural lifespan. All right, now I can at least see the chat, thank goodness. Did I bring enough picks? Yes. We can build more, though. As more dwarves arrive, we can absolutely build more. But yeah, they're going as quickly as they can. They really are. There's a lot to build here. In fact, let's see. Yep, we got some more of those walnut doors. I was thinking it was all just one kind of door, which is fine. And over here, I'll probably actually make this our first tavern, just this entire area here. But I want to first get the homes up before we start worrying about taverns or anything like that. The people are not very pleased. They don't have anything to do, but, you know, they're just getting started. Although the tavern is a great way to actually bring in additional people. So, you know what? We do have the tables for it, don't we? All right, let's see. Here's what I'm going to do. I want to open it up a bit because we do have a really nice bit of quartz there. And I'll open it up over here a bit more too, so we can make it even larger. Because I want this one to be a really big one. Work away, dwarves, work away. Look at that. We've got some adventurines right there. No, more quartz. And again, quartz is not the most valuable mineral, but it is considered a gem. So if we have a bunch of quartz over here, it's still going to be worth so much. There we go. He's getting started. Nice. Get to work, Maffel Udizenol. Maffel Udizenol. Fine lady here. We're actually fine on drink. You know what we could use more of is some more food. So I'm just going to do a simple task of preparing some easy meals. Don't need anything lavish or fine yet. In time, we will focus on that. And he's actually using that horse cheese Nothing more delicious than horse cheese, it seems. Get yourself some horse cheese today. While we're at it, we'll make some more of those dye, some more rock crafts, things like that. Keep the folks busy. And as always, some more barrels. And you know what? I'll make a wheelbarrow. And make a bed. We're going to make... we've got some tables, right? We need some more chairs. And actually, we could doing the same thing over here with the rock. I'm just going to get a rock statue, a rock table, and then a rock statue. The rock statue just makes the layer look nice. It could also be added to religious buildings to have some significance. And we'll do the same with a rock altar there. Same idea there. Rock door. In general, dwarves like to be at work. You know, they like to be doing their job all the time. That keeps them very happy. So those guys are looking pretty good. Okay, all right. This is opening up pretty nicely. So what I eventually want to do is get a different floor here. In fact, if we want to be really OCD about this, I can make a floor just specifically for the tavern. So we'll make it a bauxite floor here. See, we're going to have to use both because we need 72, so let's make it a sandstone floor. And only then will we actually start to build up the tavern itself. Now, as for the walls, you don't need walls for a tavern, right? But I'm going to make them. So I'm going to make some bauxite walls here. I think these will look quite nice, actually. They're going to be red walls, basically. Another wall over here. Boom, boom, and bauxite. It's going to look nice, I think. It's going to look nice. Over here, we could put a temple. I'll come up with the new ideas as we go along. And, of course, if you want to give any recommendations or suggestions, feel free. Another thing we could do is get something called a rock mechanism. And for that, I believe we need a mechanic. The mechanic I'll put in here next to the stone worker. And I'm going to use some of that bauxite to build it. Eventually, we're going to need another one of those massive stockpile zones, but I think I'll try to keep one deeper inside our actual dwarf fortress. So we'll start to extend it this way. And actually, I'll put our tomb somewhere over here for all the dwarves that have passed. You want to keep that somewhat far away from the rest of your civilization. And look at that. 4 new dwarves have arrived. Some of them may have been born here. Nope. Those are 4 new dwarves, period. Just have 4 new people here. Beautiful. So let's jump down there. I like it. He's getting to work on that floor. So I'm just going to go ahead and designate that a meeting area. Boom. And we are going to accept that. Any recommendations? I know this is not the most popular game on the channel, but I think Bostova might be the only one watching. Any recommendations for names of the bar? We're going to go ahead and we are going to make that an inn and a tavern. The dumpling of boards, but we can call this... the Bostovan Pub. I like that, because that's like the Bostonian. All right, so there we go. But first, of course, we're going to get that floor down here. And you can see people are already starting to hang out in the area. They're making it their own. They're getting comfy. We're going to start putting some bauxite tables down, some ginkgo tables. Just places for people to sit. And we want this pub to be a place where people can speak privately. We don't want to get that table. Like, we'll have a different pub where we have the tables all, like, extended in one large line. But here, I'm really going to let them just kind of do their thing. So we'll have a chair here. We'll have a chair on this side. Just kind of make it look nice. Get that statue out here as well. Kind of screwed up on the chairs because they're in between, so we're going to just have to put a chair right there. That's okay, though. It's not the end of the world. Let's get that statue in here. So we're going to put that, like... I kind of want to put it, like, right here in the center of the pub. All right, once again, I'm going to try to make that a continuous task. They're still trying to gather additional stuff, but we don't need that much booze to keep these dwarves happy. We have quite a lot of booze for this amount of dwarves. Oh, by the way, this is another location farther down, like much farther down. Hold on, let me go back there. So this, we want to be careful. You can see there's actually fish down here in these areas. There's even an underground river. But we don't want to mess with that. So we want to keep our construction away from that area. In the meantime, I am going to continue making those wonderful doors. Let's get a ginkgo door set up. Let's get some furniture. And we are going to make sure that every single one of our dwarves has a bedroom. Now, given time, like I said, certain dwarves will will have better bedrooms than others, depending on how you want to play it. Maybe you want to go for like a communistic dwarf society and everybody has the exact same bedrooms, but we're not going to do that. So I'm already going to start building kind of an extravagant one over here, another extravagant one over here. Just kind of a larger bedroom for our more refined dwarves, as it were. But I want to leave room for expansion, so I want to expand east and west down here. But I like that. We've already got some dwarves hanging out down here, trying out the pub, as you can see. Kumil, wait, he shouldn't be drinking. He's just eating a meal, though, as you can see there. These guys are resting, which I like, and we want to do the same over here as soon as possible. In fact, we can even build southwards with the homes if we want, or westwards, or whatever. It's completely up to us. So I'm actually going to kind of extend out this way a little bit, just like that. And we'll have a few homes going past the pub. I want to have, like, different crisscrossing alleyways and streets and things of that nature, you know, if possible. This lucky citizen here gets a bauxite door. Kind of fancy. But you can make a gem door, so maybe not that fancy. Here we go. Boom. Accept that. So given time, the dwarves will begin to call this particular area home. The area down below. You know, most of them already moved down there. Some of them are still hanging out here, and some of them are just looking for plants and things of that nature to, of course, turn into delicious alcohol. Grab all that. And let's also make sure that we are preparing those easy meals also quite consistently. I'm going to do a bucket, a bed, a bin, and a door. Now, given some time, we can, of course, start to add storage spaces specifically for different items with just bins going to certain areas. But we're keeping things pretty open at the moment. Let's get another door. And let's get another one of those delicious barrels. Gotta love the barrels. And in fact, what we could do, actually just got a little idea here. We're going to designate this area over here a temple. Make sure, yeah, nice. They are using those beds. I love it. Now, for these nicer looking rooms, we will eventually start adding like nice furniture, things like that. We could even put, sofas in, whatever you could think of, really. But for now, I'm just going to keep it real simple. Get some beds in there. Get some doors on those hinges there. That will be considered a hell of a bedroom. It's not good. That's some sort of tremor was heard below. Sometimes that could be an entire cave collapsing beneath you. I've had it happen before where you like have a little city going on and suddenly like half the city collapses. Let's hope that's not what's going to happen. But we are going to do the same thing here we did before, and that is, if we're going to designate this a specific zone, I am going to get a proper floor in here. And I want to use the bauxite floor this time. Let's use sandstone for the walls. Yep, sometimes it takes a little while, a little time to load, especially with the world information we have for this 250-year-old world. But it must be done. All right. Something like this. We use sandstone. I'd like to use sandstone again, at least for that entrance. And we'll also have a door. Actually, for the temple, we should have an open door policy. So there is a way to discover what sort of gods your particular dwarves worship. However, typically you want to wait for a few more dwarves to arrive before you start assigning gods, things like that. We'll see. We might wait a bit. We might not. We'll just see. Just play it by ear. So get another wooden chair. And the wooden chests. Now this is a piece of furniture that can make your dwarves quite happy. So we get that wooden chest and put it into somebody's room. That's going to let them store items, which of course in turn is going to make them very content. They're going to feel special, as it were. Door. Get some more of those rock tables. But really, the altar is the most important thing, which we already have a rock altar being built for the temple. We can't forget either that and we can continue going down, which of course I plan to, because that's how we're going to locate more gems. But we can still go ahead and add additional homes. We only have 7 homes for 12 dwarves. We got to keep on working. So I'm going to actually put one of them over here, just a real simple home here. And I'll probably do the same over here. We're just going to extend this area out. A hovel for all the poor dwarves, of course, of our society. You know what? You're right. I like, we'll even call it ominous. I like that. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Especially in a game like Dwarf Fortress, you want to be careful with your saves. There's that fantastic world information. And there's a lot of it. Okay, not too bad. Now, given time, our dwarves will start procreating, having children, etc. Here we go. Oh, that's right. We haven't designated this a bedroom yet. My bad. We do want to get an infirmary going as well, but give it time. Give it time. And let me get a door up there. This guy deserves a nice fancy door. So a nice sandstone door for this gentleman. Or lady. Whichever. Okay, so for this meeting area, we're just going to go boom. We're going to go accept, and we are going to check new temple, and we need to see which god, and this is the other crazy thing. In each of the worlds you start, there will be different kinds of gods that the dwarves will pray to. Like, really just quite insane. So, Ninor has 2 worshippers. Cycle, who believes in sacrifice and dusk, a bit dark, has 4 worshippers. Evom, the bushel of mops, which is about family, has 2. So the most popular one is this dark one, Sacrifice and Dusk. Let's go for it. We're going to turn this into a temple to Cycle, and we are also going to drop a statue and an altar. So I'm going to put the statue right... Oh, we got to wait for the statue. Do we have the altar at least? Just put the offering place. That's the most important thing. And we'll put a sandstone altar right in the middle there. Although it is a grim reminder of the winter hardships to come, the supply caravan from the mortal doors is a welcome sight. Their eyes are alight with the anticipation of inspecting the splendid products of your industrious crafts dwarves. And see, this is where we can actually trade with other civilizations in an effort to, make ourselves a little bit wealthier, maybe bring in some additional people, etc. So they're going to drop off their goods right there. We are going to just send anyone. We have not designated a broker yet, but if you go over here, there are any number of different administrators we could start designating. So for instance, I kind of want to wait a bit. I will make Kogan the sheriff, so she'll deal with any criminal issues. And yes, there can be really interesting crimes in this game. I'm talking everything from like getting stuff stolen, like really expensive stuff, to serial killers. So it's pretty crazy. Now what I'm going to do is, oh, they're unloading. I'm going to bring some goods here, and I'm going to bring all of the gems that we have cut, which should be a nice amount, and they should all be in those bins. There should be a gem bin. There it is. So we get to see exactly what we're going to get out of this. Let me just make sure there's space. All right, and let's... Oh, hold on. Yeah, so we want to move some goods. I'm going to go here to the bin, and I'm going to bring that gem bin over. Now, another thing we could do, we could requisition their stuff. So we could just say to them, like, listen, we don't want you in our fortress. We're going to take everything you have. But that could start a war, and this early on, that's not a good idea. As for diplomacy, they're asking us, like, basically what they should bring from the main civilization. And I'm going to say drinks of all kinds. So just any drinks, really. We can worry about armor and weapons later. I just want dwarven wine, dwarven beer, all that fun stuff. And now, we're still awaiting one item, so somebody's going to bring over the gem box. There we go. Now, if you don't have a proper broker, this can be quite a tough deal. So let's just take a look here. They've got some gems of their own. We don't want anything to do with those. We do want one of these ropes, actually a couple of these ropes. And we'll also take the canteens. You know, these are all things we can use. The fullet is an actual instrument, and so is the kangaroo bone vanka. So I'm going to take that too. These are quite expensive, so we're going to have to give them some very nice gems to purchase them. I'll also buy some toys for the eventual children here on our fortress. But the benefit here is that, people enjoy that. The dwarves like to be happy, don't we all? So if we do that, they're actually going to appreciate it. I think we're okay. We could buy some fruit and stuff like that. We could even buy some scrolls, but I'm going to keep it real simple this time. Let's get an alabaster-bound codex. We'll need it eventually. We'll need the crutch eventually. And who could pass up some kangaroo cheese, for God's sakes? Get some kangaroo cheese there. And we don't really have any extremely valuable gems. Like, usually valuable is like 1,000. So we are just gonna wing it here. Just gonna throw them a bunch of pink cut sapphires and stuff. The problem here is the quality of our gems is very low. Number one, because our gem cutter needs more experience, but really the big issue is these are gems that can be found at a very low level, so they're not that great. In fact, he might not even be interested in this trade if we can't get there. And give him the damn bin as well, but I'd rather just give them all of these. So as you can see, that, no, I don't even think I'm going to bother with it. They don't really have anything we particularly need, and the offer they're giving us for the gems is quite low. I'd really rather hold on to them and just wait a bit for a more honest trader to come by. That being said, guys, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. Not as many people showed up as I thought would for Agrippa playing Dwarf Fortress. Maybe if it was Command Modern Air Naval Operations, people would be a little more impressed. Nonetheless, thank you so much, Bostova. I will definitely be playing on Wild RP later, so I hope to see you there. In fact, I'm probably going to jump over right now. Oh, by the way, the Morettis got back in touch with me, and they're like, you know, we think you learned your lesson, because there's a war coming, so I think they need soldiers. It's going to be interesting.